My name is Ted Hicks, and my co-hosts, Scott Benson and Craig Yace.
Hey.
Guys, I was nervous before the show today. And as you notice, I didn't introduce the show as the number one real estate and mortgage show in Corona, California. Up until about 5 minutes ago, I was informed that we were the number 2 show, that Corey's Carpet Care was the number 1 show regarding real estate. And I'm like, and I contested it. I'm like, okay, yes, it's real estate related, but it's not a real estate show. It's more of a home improvement show. And so I had to contest it. But guess what, guys? We are the number 1 real estate mortgage show in Corona, California. We got our title back. Corey's Carpet Care, you can stick it. All right?
Hey, so how come Scott's like the main feature?
You know what?
Because I kind of am the main feature.
Oh.
One of the comments that we got back was if we just made my picture bigger and yours smaller, we would get more audience members. So all right, we just lost some audience members. I'm sorry, Mom.
I'm telling you. Well,
I don't know. There was something about your haircut last week, but I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
So how are we today in Corona? How's? By the way, it's almost raining in Las Vegas right now. Did you guys get that a couple of days ago?
It was a drizzle, good drizzle yesterday. Like you could almost hear it, like in your, on the roof or whatever. But
a little bit last night too. So, yeah, it's coming your way. It's going to keep coming.
And maybe it's raining deals because we're on fire over in Vegas right now. We're actually having deals pop up left and right. The market's definitely it's heated up. It's like cat and dogs coming down. It's doing really well.
Wow.
Now,
watch out for the dogs, especially the big ones, because they're crazy.
They are crazy.
They fall on you, it hurts.
Especially if they come from Corona.
Corona. Oh my gosh, we have more listings.
Don't tell me. More listings. Okay.
9 more.
9 more. So we're up to
wow.
That's significant. Wow. That's another 12% jump, I think.
And we had, so let me just take a quick look real quick here. So we've got 146 homes on the market. We had 145 homes 147 homes sell. So what does that mean?
You're still under
less than a month of inventory, or no, just more than a month of inventory. No, I'm just kidding. It's well, I'm not kidding. It's true, but
your market's basically hit a wall because you were 2 weeks of inventory. Now you got a month. It's just slammed like a train just hitting a wall.
Yep.
Oh, hey guys,
and watch out for the walls. They're like the big dogs when you're raining cats and dogs.
That's it. Scott, what's up, buddy?
So I would like to spend just a couple of moments today talking about closing costs.
Okay.
And about a recent discussion I had with a borrower about closing costs. So whenever we're ready, we don't have to do it right this second, but I think it's something good to talk about at some point because
for sure.
A lot of I think actually it's a great segue into talking about it because it's something that a lot of buyers or borrowers, I guess they're always borrowers, right? It could be a buyer or a refi, but always the borrower confuses on that being something we can control. We have very little control.
very small amount of control. So it was funny because, so got this borrower and they are closing out on a home and the title company I got from the realtor that they're working with, right? And I'm getting ready to, I sent him all of the disclosures, right? So going through all the disclosures and first he flips out, oh my God, all this money. And I said, all right, well, let's walk through it. Here's your mortgage insurance, because he's doing an FHA low down payment loan, right? And by the way, this particular lender is known for having the lowest mortgage insurance in the industry. I said, please talk to anybody. It's never going to be lower than that. Complain about the title company rate, the title insurance rate, right? Just boom, 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 going down the list. And then we get to, homeowners insurance, right? Well, there's a reserve that's going to be set aside, right? And then there's a few months in advance of payment that's also set aside. But that also means that he's not going to be making those payments for the next several months because he's paying them in advance. But that's just kind of the way it is. And this particular guy, he wanted to buy down his rate because we did all of the analysis. We went and we looked at current rates. So at the time of this deal was coming down, he was looking at a rate at par at about 5.5%. But we were buying it down to 5.125 because he's going to have this for an extended period of time. So we went through all of the reports. We showed what the crossover is in terms of making this payment to buy down the rate versus having a lower origination cost. And the crossover on this, I think it was around, it was like month 23. So if he holds a loan for longer than 23 months, it's better for him to buy down the rate. We picked 5.125 because we also did an analysis of every eighth of a point, what the break point was for the best value, right? So we go through all these numbers, but now there's a price for the buy down. And so the borrower is like, well,
I got this, I got that, right?
Yeah, so Scott, to get a little bit more granular on what you're saying, those are called discount points, and you pay a discount point to buy down the rate. And so what you were saying is that if you take the price of that discount point, let's say it was $10,000.
Yep.
And you divided that by the monthly savings they see in the payment by the lower interest rate. So let's say he was saving $200 a month, and it was a $10,000 payment. At what point does it make financial sense for him to do that, right? Then there's two things you're looking at. One is just on your cash flow. Does $200 a month make a difference to your monthly cash flow? For some people, it does. In fact, on their DTI, it might make a difference. So that's a consideration. But number two is just the expense of it alone. Is it a good investment to pay those discount points? And at $200 a month, what is that a year? $2,400 a year?
Yeah. So in your analysis, it would be 50 months for that to pay off.
Yeah. Might not be a good bet, but on a realistic situation.
Yeah. This was 23 months.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, and you brought up a really good point, Ted, because he bought down the interest rate, the payment was lower. Because the payment was lower, he was able to qualify for less down payment on the home, right? So he could use the money, and this is a little bit counterintuitive, right? Put less money down on the home, use it towards the expense associated with the mortgage. And then you're saying, well, yeah, but if you put the money down on the home, you're not giving it to somebody else. But you're also, if you take that incremental difference over the long haul and use it towards paying down the home, you would be in a much, much better financial position over the long haul. So I'm going through all of this with him. And then, so he bundles all of this together in his analysis and said, oh my God, Scott, the closing costs that you're charging me are crazy. And I'm like, no, my fee is this little bitty fee. And there's all these, and I showed him exactly what my fee was. We're completely transparent, right? So I said, if you remove my fee from this big total, right, it's going to incrementally make a very, very small differential in the total. So it's so interesting. And I think, one of the things Ted and I have talked about doing is putting together a video that goes through all of the typical closing costs, right? So people really understand what those numbers are. And this particular borrower was a relatively sophisticated borrower that I would not have expected this from. Wow. But in the end, after
you can never estimate how that's going to play out. I've done the same thing, and it's bit me in the butt every time. Anyway,
it blows my mind, right?
And the other thing, Scott, is that we always over disclose on the fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if not, we get what's called a variance, and we're responsible for that.
Right.
They'll make us pay that out of our commission.
Or in other words, in layman's term, we get our ass kicked.
We get our ass kicked.
We get our ass kicked. So,
and the other thing about that, and I think it's important to be transparent, the industry standard for origination is 2.75. That, whether you see it on paper or not, guys are making 2.75. Scott and I make 2.2. We discount already And we are the insiders. We are giving you excellent service. I guarantee you our service, not everybody's answering the phone on the weekends. Not everybody's as accessible like we are. We are doing this exceptional service, and only charging still at a discount because that's what we think is fair to give to our clients.
I just heard about a guy, just a total aside. I heard about a guy that a lender who he charges the most that he can, and he never talks to the borrower. He only talks to the realtor. So he's trained his realtors to do the pre-qual, bring him the file. Wow. He does whatever, and then he goes and has another Mai Tai. It's crazy, man. So you guys are kicking butt. Absolutely.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks.
Well, I'm going to toss one other little piece in here, and it is, just because I'm on a roll because I just had this conversation. So the other thing, because Ted and I, before we made the move to our lender, we compared our rates to the rates that we had with a direct lender. We were part of a direct lender, and a good one, large one, great service, and we had chopped their prices, but when we made this move, our par pricing was 0.75 points better where we are.
For the layman's term, what does par pricing mean, Scott?
So that's basically a zero cost loan to the lender, in terms of buying down the points, because if you take a rate that's higher than par, the lender will give you back money. If you take a rate that's lower than par, you're paying the lender money. Right. So typically in the past, we would have had to buy down the rate with 0.75 points. So almost 1% of the loan value we would have had to pay down to hit our standard rate of where we are. Mm-hmm. So people are getting a tremendous value. Now, I will say this particular borrower, once I went through everything with them, I said, go shop it. Please go shop it. Please be informed. I want you to. Came back and said, no, you're absolutely right. This was the best deal, blah, 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 blah. And, we're doing the deal. But it was, it got a little heated at me at times. I said, this is not, I don't know what to tell you. This is not my fee. So It was kind of crazy. But it's just interesting to go through that process with people. Go ahead, Craig. Sorry.
And so, so part of the fee that you were talking about was you've got some upfront, like you pay your mortgage payment in arrears, behind.
Right.
But when you first get the loan, you've got some upfront payments, right? You also have taxes. Now,
yes.
Here in, in Corona and surrounding areas, especially with newer homes, you're going to have what's called, and we've talked about it before, Mello-Roos or CFDs, but they are extra taxes. So you've got not just your 1% base tax rate, but you also have those Mello-Roos, and you've got to pay, up to 6 or 8 months. Is 8 months the most?
Yeah, I think 8 months is
depending on where you fall in the tax thing. Now, here's the interesting thing. You talked about, you did the math. Most lenders don't do the math to tell you, I mean, you ran so many scenarios, which is awesome. And you were like, hey, look, if we do this, that means that for you financially. If we do this, that. And you came to the conclusion that if you do it the route that you did, right?
Yep.
In 23 months, less than 2 years, it pays for itself. Month 24 and beyond for the rest of the 30 years, it's a huge benefit, right?
Huge.
Not just a little benefit, but you're talking about a huge benefit.
Well, you talk half a point on an $800,000 loan. That's $4,000 a year in interest. That's the differential, right? That's big,
Well, not only that, we'll use tools that will show you now you get that $4,000 a month. So let's use my scenario of $10,000 down payment to put.
Wait.
4,000 a year, excuse me. 4,000.
Okay, thank you.
Use my scenario
Ted buys really big houses. Ted buys big houses.
Use my scenario when it was $10,000 to the discount point. You could put that $10,000 discount point also into investment and compare the differential between doing that versus paying down and saving that, whatever that number, $4,000 a year is, right? Conversely, you could take that monthly payment and put that in an investment fund and see how that compares. And that's analysis that we will do for our borrowers, that granular, so they get that really, they can really understand where the number's at. And most people don't pay attention to that. They just like, what's my payment? Get me in. What's my down payment? Let's go. We take a more of a 360 view at our borrowers, short-term, medium, long-term financial goals. It's important.
Yeah,
super important.
So, I want to thank both of you for listening to me bitch and moan and, go through my little scenario. But, that was a hot topic. Just came off of it very recently. So it was top of mind.
Good info, though. Good info, because we don't talk about stuff like that normally on the real estate mortgage side.
Now, guys, normally we do a segment, and I'm flipping it today.
Okay.
I'm going to do just because I found something out that I didn't know that one of us did. And so rather than us say, okay, I just muted myself.
Okay.
Who does what? Where's my share my screen? Hold on. Do I not have the ability to share my screen right now?
Well, Scott came in first, so it might be him.
Well, that's going to spoil my whole segment.
Oh, are you wanting to show an image or a video?
Yeah, it's an image, but it's going to ruin it if I have to have you.
No, you can text it to me, and I'll toss it on screen.
All right, hold on.
Hold on. Time. Do I hear Aiden in the background?
The challenges of having a home office continue.
I know.
The challenge of having a home office continue. I had the talk before the show about going live. But you know what? Oh well.
I've got a sticker on my door that says live stream, do not knock unless the house is burning down.
All right. I just text Scott.
All right. I'm waiting.
All right. So, Craig.
Yes.
Before we go through this, though, you shared with me something really cool. And, I've seen the picture of your beautiful wife. It's right behind you, right? But last week you texted me a video of your family. And Scott, I don't know if you know this, but his family's like rock stars in their church. His son rips on guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Wife is a vocalist with a beautiful, strong, powerful voice that led. I mean, it was probably a 30-minute performance. Can you tell us a little bit more about their musical background and just? I was very cool, man. Very
cool. All right. So this is great. I'm going to start with when I met my wife. She was the after-school daycare worker for my daughter's school. I had a child before I met her, and I put her in Christian school. There's a whole lot of background I won't go into right now, but she was the after-school daycare worker. And now, 6 months before, I had met some people in a little Bible study, and I went to and maybe you could pull this up. I went to somebody invited me to see their band play, and they're a soul funk band. And so, how when you first meet somebody and then there's somebody that looks similar to them and you don't know who's who, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I think you're that was me with my soon-to-be wife. I didn't know she was my soon-to-be wife, but, I'm like, oh, are you the gal from, this Bible? I started to say the Bible.
So she was at the Bible study childcare thing.
Well, she was at the childcare. It was after school.
After school childcare and the soul funk band.
So I saw a girl in a band and a girl in this Bible study separately that I thought, I don't know who's who, because they kind of look. You ever seen an actor where you're like, well, here's a great example. There's Brad Pitt and Benicio, whoever the other guy is, kind of looks like him, only he's had too many years of drinking, that kind of thing. Anyway,
yeah.
So I met this girl. I hadn't met my wife yet. So I met this girl at this Bible study. I met this girl in this band, and they both kind of look the same. Then I come to this, I've got my daughter in school, and here's this woman who was one of the two, but I didn't know which one of the two she was, right? So I go, hey, are you the girl from the, she goes, yeah, I'm from the band Sarah Laughing. Look up Sarah Laughing, great band. They've got 2 albums out. And so.
Still active?
No.
Okay.
They were very active for about 10 years. And so this is leading into your question. So my wife, she's been a singer since she was like 6 years old, right? Singing in church. She gets into this band. She does background vocals for this soul funk band, which is a great band. Horns, the whole thing. Sounds a lot like Tower of Power, James Brown, that kind of stuff, right? And so she's gigging for 10 years. We've got 2 kids during that time, plus my daughter who was going to the shows. So my daughter has absolutely no musical anything. I have no musical anything except I really know music. I can't play it, but I know it. And my actually 4 of my kids, all 4 born of my wife, are excellent musicians. Now, the one that you're talking about is Ethan. He plays by ear only. Plays guitar. He plays. He's played drums, and my youngest is playing bass and keyboards. And so my youngest is playing bass. And the guy that you're talking about, Ethan, he comes over, never played bass as far as I know. And my youngest is playing bass. He goes, hey, check out this song. And he's like clunky, because he's just learning it. And it's a really intricate song. It's, I don't know if you know the band Tool, but they're phenomenal musicians. Yep. So my son, Ethan, comes in and he goes, oh, is it kind of like this? I'm like, dude, how do you do that? You've never played.
Amazing.
Anyway,
that's cool.
Yes, all of my kids are very instrumental and or vocal. Oh my gosh, my youngest daughter has got the most fantastic voice. She'd be really upset if I played anything here on this. But anyway, yep. We're a musical family. That's why you talk sports analogies and they're like over my head. But you talk music and I'll probably.
I've always wished I could sing like that. But then on the other side of it, I'm wondering if, some people that you can sing all the time, okay, I get it. Stop singing. You can sing.
Right. I know, right?
Fine. You got to.
Anyway, good stuff. Good.
It's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Very proud.
If I ever get my way over there, I'm going to come watch them. So,
definitely.
It was really nice.
Oh, except that my son's moving to. So this was his last time playing.
Oh,
because he's moving to Arkansas.
Oh wow! Is it college or what's going on over
there? His wife is. She wants to be a surgeon, and so she's. She's going to school out there.
Very cool.
That's cool.
So he doesn't live at home?
No.
He's married. I didn't know how old he was. Because you sent me a video. It was from the stage. It's kind of far back.
Yeah, you can't tell. Can't even see all of his tattoos, right?
I didn't know he had any tattoos. Your wife I can see pretty good, but not your son. But that's really good, man.
Here's my family. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's the whole family.
Wow. That's great.
So the 2 in the center are the married ones, right?
Okay.
Oh, wait, watch this. Boom.
There you go. Even better. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, hey, speaking of pictures, Ted, do you want me to pull up?
So rather than do
you?
Well, no, we're going to talk about this. So I've discovered this picture, and I discovered that one of us was a body double in the movie Along Came Polly. Now, I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say who. But I don't think it was me. And I don't think it was Craig Yace. Now, Scott, I'm going to send
haircuts don't lie.
I'm going to send Scott the picture I wanted to use. And I'm going to send it to Craig. Hold on. Where's Craig's Get a text to Craig. Craig's gonna crack up. This one I cannot put on air. Did you guys see the movie Along Came Polly?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
no way. Where is it?
Hold on. Here it comes.
Ted,
Way to bring the show to a screeching halt, Ted.
Yeah, you're finding all these old pictures of me. It's really quite embarrassing.
I'm telling you, Craig. Check your phone, Craig.
That's not there yet because you're on iPhone. And oh, there we go. There we go.
Ah,
So if you guys know the movie, this guy always, hello, hi, how are you? Do you want to go paddleboarding or whatever it is?
and you know what? I wasn't even supposed to be in the movie, but I was on the beach and I saw these cameras and I was looking for directions. I figured there'd be people there that were knowledgeable, right?
They didn't even cut it. They just kept them in it.
I can't believe I made it into the movie, but you got to do what it takes.
So one of us was a stunt body double in Along Came Polly. So Ted's tech tip of the day. I'm going to try to do something a little different, and it's going to work. I'm just not. Let me try something here, and you guys tell me, because I'm going to share my screen on my phone. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. The whole thing's out the door. I can't share my screen.
Well, you know what? Let's save this tech tip for next week. But give us a preview. Tell us what you were going to show us, and then next week let's show it.
Yeah, so no problem. The Six Sigma app that we've been talking about and featuring has a really cool feature that you can update files from your phone that will then send to your client database. And so this is something really neat because you normally would have to go in and change a file and update and hit send. Well, we've created to where you have a smart list of customers. So, for example, Craig could be you. You could have a group of people that are looking for new houses with double doors that are brown. And you have them tagged in your system. And you happen to be driving through the neighborhood and you see that house, it's for sale, and you take a picture of it right there. And you want to send it to everybody right there. You can do that from your phone. And anybody that you have tagged in the system with brown door, and you upload that picture to, that picture's all hit their database. One message from your phone hits everybody just by uploading the picture. So
sweet,
pretty freaking cool.
Pretty
Very
sweet.
Cool.
Pretty sweet.
Cool.
So
I like it,
guys. We are on a tight schedule today, so we're gonna call this a show. Craig, final thoughts.
Well, I was going to show you another picture, but I can't find it fast enough. But it's kind of like Scott's picture, but it had me, not Scott. So anyway, we'll do that in the next show too. We didn't do our favorite segment,
which is,
well, we kind of did. I did the get who's who, and I said, but we're going to do just Scott.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Guys, okay. One of us. Last week we had an ant farmer. This week we have a mosquito rancher.
A rancher of mosquitoes.
Well,
a lot of people don't realize they don't know the ins and outs of mosquito ranching, and it's been shown to be a very plausible way to collect protein at a large scale because the blood is full of protein, and you put it through a dehydration process, and then you can generate flaked protein that is a good supplement. I think that's where you heard about it when you ran your supplement store. So
alternatively to that, it's actually used in genetic modification to eradicate disease mosquitoes. So unlike where Scott pulled that out of, there is that. But with that being said, they actually have a dude ranch version of it. This got so popular, guys got tired of going to the dude ranches with horses and cowboying, and now they go to the mosquito ranch as a dude ranch, and they work on mosquito genetics.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Craig, you happy now? We did the best segment.
That was awesome.
With that, I'm Ted Hicks for Craig Yace, Scott Benson, we're the Real Estate Mortgage Insiders. We'll see you next week.
See ya.